Make it a better place, a better place.
Be able to work together to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Let's arise and build, arise and build, arise and build Akwa Ibom to the next level.
The world of today is different from yesterday.
I'm running my own company. I use Nigeria.
Industrialization is a vertical process. We want you to invest in the company.
There are very little things you can do and achieve so much.
So just mentor them.
To build this nation, it's by thinking differently. It's by reasoning together. It's by working together as one.
So there's you must innovate or die.
Come to Akwa Ibom State. Tell each other the truth.
I am ready to be part.
Let's arise and reason together to build a new and better Akwa Ibom, and greater Nigeria and Africa and land. That's what Podium of Leadership is all about. Let's arise and build, arise and build, a better place, arise and build Akwa Ibom to the next level.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome your host to the Podium of Leadership, Dr. Victor Udo.
How are you? Good to see you. 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 All right. Welcome to the Podium of Leadership. And you might be seated. It's so good to have you today, those of you in the audience, and those of you listening to us in the radio and on the TV. Podium of Leadership has been going on for almost 3 years now. And many times people ask me, why are you doing this? Are you sponsored by government? Oh, you are the friend of the governor. You are a partisan and all of that. But none of that is true. The governor is the father of the state, and we give him all the due respect. And we always support whatever government is doing right, whether it is state government, local government, even village government or church government or the federal government. Government must be respected and supported. And so this program is not about government. It's not about being pro-government or pro one party or the other. It's about how we together can think, renew our mind on how to sustainably develop our country. And that's why we started the Podium of Leadership. That's why many people come here. They not get paid. They freely come in and offer their ideas so that we can work together. We can join hands with government. We can join hands with our people, our friends, to make sure our state is developed sustainably. So once again, I'd like to welcome you listening to us or watching us to the Podium of Leadership. In the next three set of our programs, we'll be talking about the opportunities. We just want to rub minds on how do we translate the opportunities that we have into businesses, into enterprises. I know we are not going to all be entrepreneurs. Some of us will still have to work for other people. Some of us will still have to work for government. But I hope as we discuss and interact and exchange ideas and brainstorm, someone somewhere listening to us will become a billionaire and employ other people so that we can minimize our dependence on government. That's what this Podium of Leadership is all about. And I'm not going to take much of your time. If you want to hear more about us, you can visit us on our website, www.thepol.com.nigeria. Or you can call or send us a text message on the line the number that is scrolling. So today, we have a great gentleman, someone that has been here with us before, someone that is no stranger in Akwa Ibom, someone that has lived in Nigeria, different parts of Nigeria, understands the opportunities. He has been outside Nigeria. He knows some of the opportunities that are available that we can turn into businesses. I'm talking about no other one than my very good friend, our brother, Daniel Udo. You know, I like his nickname. And we here on the Podium of Leadership even added something to him. They used to call him North-South. We call him North, South, East, and let's give it up for him. So our brother is here to share with us and to interact with us so we can think together. The Bible says, come, let us reason together. Let's reason together. It might not be you that might take advantage. Someone listening to us on the radio or watching us on the TV will get something out of this conversation and do something. From that will come some tax payment. From that will come employment to others. From that will come sponsorship. So we want to reason together today about the opportunities that are available in Akwa Ibom. Once again, Mr. Northwest, East and South, welcome to the Podium of Leadership.
Thank you, audience.
Let's start with you. Just most of us here knows you, and those of us that have been listening to the poll on the radio or TV, they know who North-West is, or North-South is, East and West, Mr. Daniel. But just brief us again.
My name's Daniel Udo, and I have a company that I registered in 1987 known as North-South Ventures Limited. Some of my friends prefer to call me, I don't know, because the name sounds a bit exciting, to refer to me as North-South. I don't take any offense. And
now we've added East-West.
So I don't mind that as well. I believe that I am been in politics. I also have been in business. I was in business before I got into politics. I feel very excited about sport. I feel very passionate about tourism, very excited about agriculture, and of course the environment. So over the years I have made tremendous research into these areas that I have passion for, and I am happy that today Nigeria is at the crossroad, at the point at which most of those things are advocated is what we should now be depending on for our survival. So we are back home to the real business, because the real business is the business that will never go away. There's no time limit, and that is the business of agriculture. That's the business of tourism. And of course, sports, which as far as I'm concerned, has a lot to do with beyond fiscal development. But today, you know, beyond Nigeria, especially outside this country, you know, a lot of persons are depending on sport for their survival. Most of the richest young men and women in this world today are sportmen and women. So why would I not want to talk about sport? Why would we not want to talk about sport? Why would we not want to invest on sport? Why would we not want to invest on our people who are interested in sporting activities? Because of the enormous investment the world is making into sport, and what we as a people within this state and beyond can derive from sports. You know, the fiscal aspect and all the other aspects, the mental aspect, the psychological aspect, and of course the financial aspect. So those are things that I think, you know, I am known for, and I will continue to advocate and struggle to see that we all come to terms with the fact that we can't all continue to depend on oil as the only source of our income. It was a mistake for Nigeria to turn to oil only and abandon every other sector of the economy. You know, there are countries today, of course, which you know, and I believe that today I'm going to dwell, you know, mainly on tourism and perhaps agriculture. You know, because I believe that over the years we made a mistake for us to have depended only on oil and only one source of income, and abandon all the other sector that could have made so much, you know, meaning to. And today we wouldn't, in fact, whatever would have happened to oil would have been just, would not have affected us the way it has affected us now. If we had all other, I mean, maybe 1, 2, 3 other sources that we were depending on. But because everything was about oil, so the moment we had problem with oil, everything came crashing down to the ground. So I think we need to see what we can do, both at governmental level, individual and private. Everybody must be interested in these areas that I have, you know, mentioned. That is the area of tourism, the area of sport development, the area of agriculture. So these are things we need to do. And these are all very broad. Many countries of the world depend solely on tourism for their survival. Other countries of the world depend solely on agriculture for their survival. So, and there are countries, even in Europe, that sport is becoming their biggest, the mainstay of the economy. For instance, the UK, you know the Premiership, and no one of the Oscars. Almost every city in the UK has a stadium, and one major football team or the other.
And a lot of people talk about Manchester United, yes, Chelsea.
More than our...
All of the sports they talk about here is the UK sports.
Exactly. So, and you can imagine how much most of those guys are earning. You're talking of young men earning between £50,000 per week to £250,000 per week. And if you convert that into naira, it runs into several millions of naira. And so it's something that is worth giving serious consideration, either, like I said, by government and by individuals and private, corporate institutions, So I believe that in the area of tourism, which is my _1 area which I tend to talk about today, Akwa Ibom is blessed. Akwa Ibom is endowed with all the potentials about tourism, beyond, in fact, more than Cross River State. It's just that they had a governor who became interested in investing and developing whatever they had. But we have much more potentials to develop, tourism-wise than even Cross River State and any other state in this country. And I believe that Akwa Ibom, if we invest on our tourism potentials, could derive so much from it. It's a very broad area which will impact on all other sectors. It will impact on agriculture, it will impact on, commerce, even sports, because there's what we call sport tourism, there's what we call medical tourism. Almost all the sector in one form or the other, because when people start pouring into your state, they suddenly will want to make use of services, and these services must be of world-class standard, like the airport, the 5-star stadium we have, and then of course the hospital, which I believe that all we need right now is to polish it properly, make sure that we raise it to the standard which we had intended to take it up to. And then of course the Tropicana, that's what we today describe as the biggest entertainment center in Nigeria, which I believe that must be completed, no matter the situation financially and otherwise in this state. That center alone, if completed, can employ hundreds of thousands of people, because it incorporates so many things. The cinemaplex, the malls, several malls, shopping malls, other facilities that you can hardly find in other states of the Federation. At least not up to that size and standard. And, so I think we should, however we intend to do it, whether we want to partner with a private or corporate institutions or want to source for loan and complete that facility, it is crucial and important, at least to properly lay a solid foundation for the takeoff of this tourism subsector in Akwa Ibom. That entertainment center must be completed. Thousands of our people will be employed if that place is completed and ready. All you have there right now ready for the public is the cinemaplex, which is nothing to write home about. But if you have the conference center ready, which can accommodate about 5,000 people, then of course you can now begin to talk about the possibility of hosting a major event in Akwa Ibom. And take note, if you don't have an event to bring people into your state, the people will not come to know your state. They only hear about Akwa Ibom. They don't know about Akwa Ibom. They don't know the people. They don't know the environment. So you need to create events. You need to create things to, things must happen in your state, and people must come to visit your state and then identify the state, see the state as the most secure environment that has been created in this country, where they can now bring their family and invest and stay and reside and do business. And that's when we begin to develop. The issue of, foreign direct investment and people coming in to invest in Akwa Ibom will not happen unless we have things happening. We have a way of getting people to come to Akwa Ibom to at least identify the place, see the place, see the people, get to know whether the place is a place that they can come and invest and live with their family. I mean, right now we are lucky that we have power. Power has been generated. Unfortunately, the means of distributing it is still problematic, but there's hope that with time and with support from government and of course some private investors, we'll be able to take care of that aspect of the problem that is outstanding, to enable Akwa Ibom to be the first state ever to have light at least permanently for,
I think you've laid out 4 main areas of potential opportunities for people to do stuff: sports, tourism, agriculture, and the 4th one that I think I read something the other day about is the environment.
That's right.
We've been talking about how bad our environment is, and the federal government have decided and committed to cleaning up Ogoni land. But I read the other day that the Ogoni people are saying we are not ready because we don't have the skills. The Ogoni people are not skilled enough to participate in the cleanup. South would have to be cleaned up. We have to restore it back to where it was before. And so that's an opportunity also. So I don't know which of the 4 areas you want to start talking about: sports, tourism, agriculture, or the environment. Which one do you want to start with? Environment. All right, so let's start with the environment. Any question or observation or comments on how and what opportunities are available in environment for our listeners on the radio and are watching on TV? You in the audience might not have the money, but the people that are listening to us might have the money, might have the resources, might have the opportunity. Like when they talked about people not being trained, not having enough people to be trained, enough hands to help in the cleanup in Ogoni land. Ogoni is our neighbor now. We have Ogoni people in Akwa Ibom and Akwa Ibom people in Ogoni. What are the opportunities? What can someone do to be ready? It's up to you, and the host is here also, the guest is here also to interact. What's in your mind? What do you want to do? What do you want to suggest about the environment?
Talking about the Ogoni people not ready for the Ogoni cleanup. I think bringing foreign expertise to come in is not a bad thing, because if they bring in foreign expertise, the indigenes will be trained on how on how to handle most of these things. I think that is something that should be done. It's very important. Expertise, those who have the skills, those who can train others, should be brought in to teach others how to do most of these things that they know.
Good point. So you have the point of opinion that experts should be, maybe that's one way of doing a knowledge transfer, bring the experts, but instead of sending people abroad to go and learn, bring the experts in here to train people here. Good point.
Doctor, thank you for the opportunity. Please, I want to use Akwa Ibom as a case study to ask our guest. Please, what are the outstanding potentials we have in Akwa Ibom State that we can use to invite tourists, environmentalist tourists, to come and invest in our state?
Okay. So that's a clear question. You wanted to say something, and then I'll let him take the 3 of you at the same time. Any other person wants to ask a question? Let him go first. Then the lady, and then him, and then we go back to him.
Thank you. My question is, I've been seeing, talking about the environment, I've been seeing waste collectors gathering the waste. I don't know how they dispose this waste, because wherever they are storing it, it could become another problem to us. So I want to ask, is there any measure that the state is putting in place to kind of recycle this waste and use it for something productive? Thank you.
Good question.
We've been hearing this cleanup program, but not most of us actually know what it should be or what it entails. So explicitly, what is entailed in this cleanup, so we know how we can come in or how we can put our contributions. Thank you.
Good question. Okay, one last person, and then we're going to let the guests.
I have a contribution, but not a question. Talking about environment is very, very vital when it comes to human being, because human being cannot do without environment, and environment cannot exist in a vacuum. So I want to advise Nigerians and others people to come into Akwa Ibom, that the Akwa Ibom state government has great enabling environment for business, tourism to thrive. They should come in and invest. Our environment is very, very suitable. not like Borno State. Akwa Ibom is very, very peaceful. Thank you.
Okay, the environment we are talking about in this context is not the ambience. We are talking about land, sea, and the ground. You know, over the years, the spillage of and the air, okay, the spillage of oil have damaged the waters. That's damaged the land, the ground. It has also, I mean, one of the worst sights I always see when I fly into South. When you look at the roofs, and the other day I went to Kano, you know, I look at the roof there were as new as when they started they build those buildings. But our roofs are rusted because of the pollution that goes into the air. So what we are talking to you about, this environment we are talking about, for those of you who are listening, because I hear when you hear it, you know, people would think we are talking about the enabling environment. We are talking about the environment, air, water, and sea, and land, okay? How do we clean it up? Because it's already messed up. In a country like the United States, there are very stringent laws. You know, like if you work in a power plant like myself, the quantity of what you are putting back in the air, whether it is particulate are like when you burn and you see ashes, they are controlled. The air, even when it looks clean, you must make sure there is not what is called nitrogen oxide, or there is nothing that is called sulfur oxide, SOx. They call it NOx and SOx, because those are the things that actually bring back what is called acid rain that damage our roofs. And then in this part of the world, people depend on the water that comes from the roof for their drinking. And so that's the kind of environment we are talking about. In absence of proper rules and regulations, what can we do? How can we help our neighbors? How can we encourage? How do we prepare ourselves so that when the federal government or the United Nations bring in money to help clean the environment, we are ready. We can take part of it. What kind of courses are you taking in school? Now, someone bring up the issue of waste management. There is what is called waste to energy. How are we taking advantage of that? That's the kind of environment this conversation is about. Let me let the guests chip in there.
Well, thank you so very much. Incidentally, I was once a pioneer member of the Akwa Ibom State Environmental Protection and Waste Management Board.
Excellent.
And to the extent that I was appointed the chairman of the Waste Management Department of the agency. So I think I know a little about issues bordering on the environmental matters. There's not much we, the ordinary citizens, even if you go to university to be trained as an environmental, you know, whatever, you wouldn't have much except maybe just to theorize and talk about how to prevent and all whatnot. You can't do much. Once there is a spill, is beyond the ordinary person to handle, because the equipment to be deployed and the technicality involved is beyond. In fact, even Nigerians, you know, as a government can't even afford to handle it. So most time we bring in experts from abroad to come and help clean up. And that is why, like what is happening in the Ogoni, so much money has been earmarked to clean up the Ogoni oil spill and all whatnot, the pollution there. But you will find that at the end of the day, foreigners only will be given the contract, because you don't have equipment, you don't have what it takes, you don't have the technology to be able to clean up oil from, you know, taking oil out of water is not easy. And in a very large area, you're talking of a whole, you know, maybe up to about 10,000 meters and beyond. So how are you going to use a cup or, you know, to scoop the oil? You will never get it, achieve anything. So usually, like somebody suggested, you need the experts to come in, and then of course maybe our people will be employed to assist the company that are being employed to handle the assignment to get the job done. That's all you can do, at least as far as that is concerned. Then on waste, you can convert waste into wealth, you know, and that you can do by also employing experts from abroad. You don't have the equipment to be able to convert all these waste food items and all those stuff they are throwing away that is being gathered and packed into, dumped somewhere there. I think around the, I don't know, the Barracks Road end. That's where we used to dump. I don't know whether they've gotten a new dump site, you know, which is not perfect. It's not right. We're not supposed to be. That's the way on your way to Government House. So I think there should be a different location for the dumping of those refuse. But those refuse can also be separated. It can be converted into several things, like those plastic stuff can be converted into something else. And all you need is a separator, people to come in with the technology, separate the leaves and all those stuff and convert it into manure and other. And those other ones can be converted into several other things. All these things you need foreign assistance, foreign investment, and what have you. Government must be involved and so on. And of course, our people will be involved in one way or the other, because when the companies come in to handle these jobs, we need people, especially our boys and girls who are trained from the university on environmental issues, to be involved, get to be involved physically, practically in what they were taught. Because most time you don't even have the opportunity. So it's only when such event, such situation, happens that you now, maybe the companies are employed and then you are able to, you're opportunity to work with them, that you now come face to face with what you studied in school. So I believe that all those refuse can be converted into several things. But long and short of what I'm saying is that there's not much the indigenes of Ogoni and the indigenes of Akwa Ibom can do in even wherever else that there is oil spill. You can only rely on foreign expertise for the job to be done, and then of course somewhere along the line our people were employed to assist them get the job done.
Well, we are thought about things like environmental impact assessment, where we
that's to prevent the future damaging of the
yes, and also trying to check, like, if a company is in, like, maybe a company is operating, we now check what the things they have put in place to manage whatever waste the company is, the industry is producing, and how this waste is recycled or it's contained so that it doesn't harm the people staying around the environment. Yes, sir. So, and also we are taught the life cycle assessments, whereby you assess the life cycle of whatever project is being launched or carried on in a state. We check whatever, like how the project has gone on so far, and in each stage of this project, what has it been able to achieve, whatever waste has been produced from it, what it has added to the environment, and what it has damaged in the environment, and how these things can be controlled. Although most of this controlling is done by equipment and machines that we don't have here.
I'm aware that NDDC is organizing training for youths across the Niger Delta region. They just paused the training for a while, so they're working on the phase now. I think alphabet A to certain alphabet, it's going to be in different phases. So one of my brother is part of it. They paused it for a while, but they are going to continue the training process again. The second thing I want to talk about is, I live on Brook Street, and the waste dump site in Barracks Road, I think when it's being filled up, they burn it up. And when they do that, you can't breathe at night. I jog 5 a.m. every morning, and when I go out, you can barely see. It's all misty, and I think that's something that should be looked into. And then thirdly, like I said, in trying not to witch hunt anybody, the previous government operated in a time where the country was enjoying oil boom. So a lot of people that were involved in the previous government, I would say, were somewhat comfortable. All I think should be done is the dump site, how to build artificial dump sites, how to manage it, how to control it, how to make sure that it does not cause too much of an issue, on the environment.
All right. Okay. Now, what I actually want us to spend time discussing is really the aspect that we can be involved. Like you rightly said, the ones that government, I'm sure that there's a Ministry of Environment that is looking into all of that. But we are paying or that are being paid to look into that. But how do we empower ourselves? How do we benefit from this? What can we as a people do? You know, I've said it many, many times, like the President Kennedy said, don't think of what the government can do for you. Think of what you can do for the society, for yourself. That's the kind of thing I want us to spend time talking about. I know my guests have...
frankly, even though the area it was, environment is everything. Environment is so diverse that if we want to dwell on it, we spend the whole day talking about environment. There's almost everything about our life is the environment, So let us limit ourselves to a certain, area of environmental issue. Because the environment, I mean, if we can confirm, is so diverse. Almost everything about our life is about the environment. So,
even agriculture, sports, tourism is all about environment.
So let's see in what way can we as ordinary citizens contribute to ensuring the environment is clean and neat and tidy. You can plant trees. You can ensure that you don't create so much noise by way of all these speakers all over the place, music, these are things you can do to at least your own little contribution. Sweep, keep your environment clean. In those days, even in our local villages and communities, you remember we used to have these sanitary inspectors who were coming in and that kind of thing. So in your own little way, because these things are so advanced to a level that most of what we are saying, apart from the dredging thing, which is also even contributing to environmental degradation, by in one way, even though it's also helping in generating employment, and of course, almost everything we do has some impact, and that is why people go to the university to study environmental impact assessment. Almost everything you need to do, even cooking, using firewood or anything, those are issues that can be debated over for a whole day. So all I can say is that what role, what part, what can you do to ensure that we have a healthy environment as an individual? And that is by ensuring that in your village or in wherever community you plant trees, you keep your environment clean, you don't dump things out of the car, maybe you're inside the car, you throw all these things into the gutter and that kind of thing. You can help in so many other ways. Like my friend was complaining about the dump site, where he lives. There shouldn't be things like that. There shouldn't be a dump site being all over the place. There's no way you go in Europe or anywhere else in advanced country where you see dump site here and there. There must be a specific places allotted for government, by government for people to dump their waste. And these waste are converted, separated into various and, recycled into several things. Yeah. Those are the areas our citizens can invest, if they wish to. It's unfortunate that citizens are not really investing. I agree with you. Most of us who were in government, who were in one position or the other, beyond government even, in big corporate institutions that we work for and then make some money, we are not really investing. How many Akwa Ibomites are into building of shopping malls? How many Akwa Ibomites are into building of factories and all those stuff? All they're after is building big mansions in a warehousing and shelter Africa and all that stuff. Sometimes they spend between 50 to 100 million naira to build a house where only one security man will be, employed to man the gate, and that is all. Whereas, like I said the other day, I have a property which he knows about, is as almost the same size of some of the property our brothers and sisters who made money, have. And just, today, as I'm talking to you, because I've converted it, I decided that, well, in my own little way, humble way of at least contributing to the development of our society, that I needed to convert that very facility into an employment generating facility rather than, so today that facility is employing about 30 people. You can imagine if, who am I? I've never been a commissioner. I've never been a general manager of a company or a government establishment or chairman of the board or chairman of local government.
So wait a minute, you just told us you were chairman of the environmental...
No, I was just a member.
And then they made you a chairman.
Environmental protection and waste, and it was for 9 months. And we were all about cleaning the environment and keeping the place clean.
Not about making money.
We were paid I, as a board member, was paid 5,000 naira in a month.
When was that, though?
That was the beginning. We were the pioneer board members. I mean, I'm talking about when Abong Atta came into office newly. Yes, exactly, you know. Well, 5,000 wasn't much of money at that time, you know. I mean, so there's not much you could have been able to do with 5,000 naira. But all I'm trying to say is that at least as many of our people as possible, if they had invested, you know, I know there are many of our citizens who have much more money than me who could invest in several various sectors of the economy. You know, you can imagine if we can have these many persons who are investing in church buildings and developing the church and all whatnot to a certain size. You know, why can't we go into agriculture? Why can't we go into several other things? Even the church can also venture into agriculture. The church can venture into other commercial business, you know, and so on. So I believe church can even venture into sports development. Church can venture into a hospital and
other stuff.
Stuff and employ people. You know, you understand what I'm saying? The church can go into agriculture. The church can go into the medical sector. The church can go into sport and help to develop, even if it is only their members. Yes. You understand?
Yeah.
No,
I think I want us to think about that, because we're talking about what we can do. We've always said what government can do. We are all members of churches. Some of you youth leaders, some of you elders, and so on. Someone said to me that the greatest day of cash outflow in Akwa Ibom are Mondays. You go to these churches, with all due respect to the pastors and the leaders, we collect all this money, and then the following Monday is remitted out of Akwa Ibom. If you really think, I belong to a church that is called Christian Methodist Episcopal Church. It was founded by black Americans. They have schools. The first school I went to in America was owned by that church.
Exactly.
They have hospital and so on. So all these monies we are giving to our churches today, I'm just talking about Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
What are we doing to touch lives?
Invest in education. Very big.
Education,
you know,
agriculture,
what
job
the Catholic
employment.
Church did, you know, in this state, in those days, in the 40s and 30s and 60s. They invested in, you know, what the hospital we have at Anwa.
Anwa.
The Anwa Hospital. Yes. It's a mission hospital. And there are several others. Yeah. By Methodist, by Kwaibo and other, you know, but so far I have not seen much of it anymore. I believe that so much can still be done by the churches. Instead, what you see now is that the pastor would build a mansion and live on his own. The pastor will own about 2, 3, 4 expensive cars running into hundreds of millions of naira. Whereas such money, I'm not, with all due respect, I don't have anything against a pastor living well and that kind of thing, but most of that money can be diverted into, you know.
So this is an area that we can encourage our church.
Our sons and daughters, let me leave the pastors alone. Our sons and daughters who have been in government for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, some up to 8 years, you know, who have made some money, can invest and generate employment. Yeah. It's not, we shouldn't be looking up to government alone, you know, and before you know it, so much can be achieved. Today in our state, you find that the few shops that can be referred to as shopping, whatever, are all owned by foreigners. You know, I don't have anything against that. I mean, we are all begging for foreign investors or people to come in and invest in our state. But I believe our people can do much more than that. We have people who have much more money to open a big shopping mall with air condition and everything and employ about 30 to 40 persons, you know. And our boys who are employed within those institutions can learn. And before you know it, 310 of them out of that number will also think of opening their own shop in the near future. And so the thing continue like that. And then people can also invest in agriculture and so on, like you right. So you were right. So, but I didn't want us to dwell only on dredging and all that. There are so much, all the dredging businesses that are people coming in from Port Harcourt and all whatnot. But like I said, the only way, at least to end the story on environment, is that government has a lot to do as far as the environmental issues are concerned, because they are very expensive issues. They are also capital intensive. It requires a lot of equipment. It requires a lot of technical know-how. So when it comes to cleaning up, don't even go there, because you wouldn't be able to get involved. But if the companies are employed, they can employ you to assist, and then you learn. You get to know what it is to get involved in it. Because even after you have learned, it might be difficult for you to go into cleaning up of oil spill is quite difficult. It requires so much, billions goes into deploying the kind of equipment that is needed and the technology that is needed to clean up an oil spill. It's not a joke, you know. And even some major oil companies do not have the technology. They have to employ some other specialized company from abroad to come and assist them get it done.
Yeah.
So all you can do is to assist them. And because you also need to be taught how to be able to be safe in assisting them to get the job done. Or else, even while you're involved in that assignment, you yourself can get yourself into trouble, you know. So that is the only area. But like I said, generally, in helping our government, in helping ourselves, we can keep our environment individually and as communities very clean and neat and tidy. We can avoid throwing things all left, right, and center on the street. We can stop dumping things into the gutters. We can plant trees. We can do so many other things. We can ensure that our citizens don't do things. In fact, even parking of cars and blaring of horns, sounds everywhere. All these are things you can contribute to ensure your environment is healthy. Because blaring of horns, if you know, there are people who are allergic to sound, so much sound. You know, there are people who go crazy when there's so much sound. So these are things that we can control, we can contribute to control and help to assist to build a healthy environment for ourselves. Akwa Ibom generally, at least for now, is a very clean state. Environmentally, I think we are doing well. The state and the government is doing a lot in terms of cleaning up the street, chopping up the grass, removing the refuse as of when due. They are trying. I believe it could be improved upon. But, so, I mean, comparatively with other states, I mean, for instance, if you go to Abia, you know, Anambra, another state, or Onitsha, you know, you'll be overwhelmed. You will agree that our state is somewhere in terms of environmental cleanliness. And I want Akwa Ibom to be the #1 in terms of cleanliness. And that is what we have always been known for. We've always been known for as people who are very, very neat and clean. We can get that back by ensuring that we assist the government, we work hand in hand with government to ensure that our environment is clean. You go to Ibom Plaza, you find people park their cars, you know, indiscriminately, you know, and all those are things that are not helping to, build a healthy environment. Those are the kind of things. And then, of course, the smoke coming out of some of these cars. There must be some control. There must be some regulations. You know, like I always told my friend, the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, I said, look, you are doing well in the area of refuse removal, but you need to employ, you now have the Green Brigade, but you also need to have green police. If you go to Lagos State, you have people who ensure that people don't behave anyhow. You know, you understand? Like, in fact, a few days ago, I just read that Lagos State government have just enacted a law to ensure that there's no more street trading. It's an eyesore that you drive out of our airport only to come face to face with young girls of about 5, 6, 7 years, you know, on the street on a school day, in a state that education is supposed to be free and compulsory. You find children of between the ages of 5, 6, 7. It's a shame, you know, running around with banana and whatever on their heads, you know. So these children should be in school, and we should stop street trading. You know, I believe that most of these, like the plaza, should be a place that people can come to our state and go and relax and you know, it's not supposed to be a market. Yeah. Almost every place, every public places in Akwa Ibom is turned into a market. And that's why I'm advocating that government should put in place environmental police, like what you used to have in those days.
Sanitaries. That
used to be known as sanitary inspectors. Yeah. Who will, because once you create this beautiful environment, and you don't have the right people to monitor, to ensure that those places are in clean, healthy condition. Of course, you can be sure some street traders and women who they will go there and say, you know.
I want to pivot this conversation to agriculture, but we need to round up because we've been talking about environment. And again, the main theme is the opportunities in environment. Let me say this. In the developed countries, they were where we were. They were polluting environment left and right and center. They were excavating coal. They were polluting the air. But recently, maybe in the last 20 years, they now start cleaning the environment. That's right. They start, in America, there's what is called Superfund, which is similar to what they're trying to do now in Egoni, where they went and start cleaning those heavy polluted areas. So what you need to do, those of you listening to us who are complaining about unemployment, study about environmental prevention and protection. There will be jobs in the future in that area. Now, the young man that talked about, I'm embarrassed that we are still having incinerators today. We are still burning refuse. There's what is called recycling, and there's also what is called landfill. That's right. That's an area young people, those of you studying geography, can design a landfill, and you can make money by telling people, no, instead of taking your refuse to Barrack Road, which is right at the center of the city, take it to an area, I have a landfill. And the landfill is used to do a lot of things. You can use it to produce methane, and you can use that methane to do some other stuff. You can also make sure you separate the kind of refuse that you put there and make it become manure. And so there's money to be made in the environment. And he talked about it, converting waste to energy, converting waste to use. Those are opportunities. You know, and if you go today, internet is in your fingertips. There are countries that are sponsoring these things. They are called carbon credits, planting trees that he mentioned. So what are we saying? Those of you listening to us or watching, there are opportunities out there. You have connections with all these advanced countries that are trying to get credit for the environment that they polluted, because the globe is just one. If we keep polluting in Africa and China and India, there's only one Earth. The Earth is not going to be there for everybody. So they are now trying to help. So key into it, research and find an area where you can make yourself an opportunity and make money out of it.
Let's introduce you to your new home, Albert Suites. The location is L47, Ewet Housing Estate by Ewet Housing Police Station, Uyo. You are guaranteed the best of African and continental dishes with mouth-watering and finger-licking taste, as well as affordable and well-designed ultra-modern facilities that will make you stay a memorable one. In the bar, you will enjoy assorted wine and spirit, specially selected from the best distillers and kept ice-chilled for you. Albert Suites offers you a world of luxury as you are sure of 24 hours internet services, laundry services, adequate security, 24 hours power supply, well-equipped gymnasium and conference hall. For your orders, call 0802-583-8426. Albert Suites, your best home away from home. Do you want to see beyond your vision? Do you want to hear what other people think about leadership? Do you need a reshaping of your mindset and mentorship? Then tune in to the Podium of Leadership, the POL with Victor Udo, showing on AKBC Channel 45 every Monday by 12:30 p.m. and on NTA Channel 12 Uyo every Thursday by 10 p.m. Tune to the POL on Planet FM on Wednesdays by 3 p.m. and on AKBC Radio on Saturdays by 1:30 p.m. You can be a guest on this program. You can also advertise your product, goods and services, or sponsor the program by calling our office line 0902-300-7299. That is 0902-300-7299. Visit our website on www.thepol.com.ng. Like our page on facebook.com/The Podium of Leadership, or follow us on our Twitter handle at The Pol with Victor. The Podium of Leadership do show. Join us.
Okay, I will wish we talk briefly about tourism. When I started, I said we have all the potentials, and there's a whole lot that the private individuals and corporate institutions can do, but the government has a major role to play, and the government has already done so much, and all they need to do to ensure that we actually benefit from the environment, the tourism sector, is for government to ensure that all their investment in that sector, that is the basic basic requirement for the take-up of the tourism subsector, which is the airport, for instance. I did talk about sport development, good network of roads, and then the development of Tropicana Entertainment Center, good hotel services, the beach at Ibona, which I believe that can be given a touch, and of course all the historical sites can be identified, which I believe already have been identified. But all that is required now is to get it developed and made it such that it will attain a world-class standard for people to be able to visit. The iconography business can be developed. The Ekpo, and all those stuff can be developed, because whenever tourists come to your place, they want to go back with something. So you need to develop all those things. And then we need to finish all the hospital thing to a level that we intended it for. That hospital was intended to be a tourism, medical tourism hospital. The 5-star stadium is supposed to, is wasted as it is right now, because I mean we need an indoor sport hall and then an Olympic-sized swimming pool to be added to that, so that we can host a major event that will bring over 5,000 to 10,000 people into Akwa Ibom. We need to complete the entertainment center. We need to complete that conference center that can host about 5,000, so that Nigerian Bar Association can host their major events in Akwa Ibom. Once you have those facilities ready, and the arrival hall of the airport ready, and all those stuff ready, and your power supply situation is improved upon, I believe that Akwa Ibom will be one venue that everybody wants to visit. So I believe that this platform can be used. I thought that today I would have had enough time to talk about tourism, because so much that can be done. But before I end my story, I think I want to use this opportunity once again to recommend to government to immediately set up a committee to come up with a blueprint, to come up with a roadmap on tourism development. The same way they had come up with a foreign direct investment committee, a committee on agriculture. We should have committee to get the seaport in place. There should be a committee on tourism. If that committee is put in place, the committee will now come up with a blueprint, a roadmap, and identify all the sites, identify all that is required to ensure that in the next 1 or 4 or 5 years, Akwa Ibom is one place that everybody must visit in Nigeria. Our Ibom beach must be touched and transformed totally. The Utaiwa beach and the this thing in I think in Kanafon, there is a river in Kanafon that is the river or whatever where So there are so many sites. The Merislezo tomb at Ibiono, and so on. So I believe that at the end of the day, tourism sector alone would generate hundreds of thousands of jobs and will bring hundreds of thousands of people into Akwa Ibom. And when these people come into Akwa Ibom, if you have 1,000 people in Akwa Ibom for a particular event, out of that 1,000, 10 out of them or 20 will want to come back to Akwa Ibom to stay.
Well, we just don't have time. We will definitely have to bring you back. This is the second, third time, but we will make sure you finish your story. Let's give it up to him. So today we've been talking about sports, environment, agriculture, and tourism. There are opportunities in those areas. We couldn't spend all the energy and all the time to talk about it today, but information are on your fingertips. If you cannot do anything, Google what you can do on sports. Like you rightly say, it's a money maker. If you cannot make money yourself, maybe your junior brother or someone from your village will be able to make money out of sports. Let Akwa Ibom people. I think the governor, people criticize me for talking about the government, but he has already started building sports centers in each of the senatorial districts. His vision is sometime during his administration, you go to people representing Nigeria, you find majority of the people in that sport being Akwa Ibomite. That's right. Let's give it up to His Excellency for giving such an idea. So we need to work on agriculture. We can't talk about what you can do in agriculture. We have land, very good land in this place. We've talked about environment. let someone come up with a design of a landfill.
That's right.
So that we don't continue to burn a refuge. We can turn it into wealth, like we said. We've talked about the tourism. Let's hope someone in government, the commissioner is hearing this, that we need a roadmap on how to transform our state into a tourist center. It has been great talking to you. Those of you on the radio and TV, please tune in same time and hear us. God bless you. It's been nice talking to you.
Podium of Leadership is all about. Oh, a better place.